Hi everyone, Cheryl here. Today is January 11th. I received information last night from the Arcturians and Pleiadians. They shared with me that we are at a very critical juncture right now with having to make a choice between adhering to the old familiar ways of how our world is unfolding with government structures and conformist attitudes and different organizations that are trying to squelch our freedoms. The Arcturians and Pleiadians are urging us to make the choice for freedom. This junction needs to be addressed like soon, very soon, before March, actually. The whole fabric of time is being affected. And how they explained it to me is that, the field or the energetic field of the cosmos has a certain flow and unfolding. And think of it like fabric. And because we are stuck or trapped in this old way of thinking and this old way of being with conforming to old outdated ideas and not embracing universal love and this higher vibration, the fabric of time, it was sort of shown to me like, and I guess because I sew, it was shown to me like a sewing machine that has thread trapped and the fabric is bunching up. And so the fabric is bunching up with Earth and the rest of the cosmos is smooth. And so it's smooth everywhere else, but it's all bunching up right where Earth is. And so it's all distorted as a result of our choices. And they're urging us to make this choice for change. They explain that yes, there is uncertainty, and yes, people have a tendency to go with the familiar, the things that they know. Doesn't mean it's the right choice. It just means that they're familiar with it. It would be like somebody who's familiar with being abused and they keep choosing the abuse because that's all they know. That doesn't mean it's right or it's good. And we are like that. We are choosing to get stuck in this old way of thinking and trapped by thinking that we need more government, we need more control over us, we can't think for ourselves, we can't make choices for ourselves. We want to have, a wage for doing nothing. What happens to our incentive, our creativity, our desire to move forward if some of these choices are taken away from us? We end up just being zombies. And, I was shown by the Arcturians and Pleiadians that if we make that choice to stick to the old way, we are going to regress hundreds, if not thousands of years as a civilization, as a society. Our history is inaccurate. We've been told stories about our history that are just fairy tales, that have been made up, and we bought it hook, line, and sinker. It's not even true. There's so much about our history that is wrong, that is inaccurate, and they're finding out this information every day. There are discoveries being made about ages of bones and artifacts that are being unearthed all over the world. advanced civilizations that existed thousands and thousands and thousands of years ago, long before what our supposed history documents. So our history is a big lie, and overlapping with this urgency that I'm getting from the Arcturians and the Pleiadians is that we have astrological configuration of Pluto in Aquarius. Now, historically, Pluto in Aquarius always is a time of revolution and change and upheaval. Aquarius is often associated with the power of the people, and Pluto is deep transformation and radical change of Pluto entering into Aquarius, and it has been there for a little while, not very long, but for a little while. And along with that, we have Saturn and Neptune forming a conjunction. Now, this happens every approximately 36 years. The last time it occurred was in 1989 when the Berlin Wall came down. And that Saturn-Neptune conjunction is going to be taking place in March and April. So that corresponds with what the Arcturians and Pleiadians are telling me about making this choice soon, this decision that we have to make. Are we going to follow with the old ideas and just allow ourselves to be led by an over-bloated government that keeps wasting our money and lining their pockets and convincing us that we need them? Or are we going to take a stand and stand up for ourselves and actually make a choice that is going to be for our good so that we can move forward as a society? The other thing is that we need to make a choice to not get sucked into the idea of segregation and war and, you know, the whole idea that we're not connected. We are all connected, and we are connected to the earth, we are connected to each other, and yes, there is some division, religiously, politically, all of those things exist in the timeline that we're in right now. But we can choose a different timeline. We can choose a timeline where there's love and hope and understanding and a higher vibration. And so we need to make that choice, and we need to make that choice sooner rather than later, because our future depends on it. Do we want to regress and have our whole world go backwards and be held back? It would be a shame to have that happen. And the way that the Arcturians and Pleiadians were showing me this, with this fabric of time and this distortion that we are creating here on Earth, and it's coming to a critical head. It's almost as if, you know, the powers that be that are trying to control the people are desperate now, and they're using more extreme measures all the time to try and confine us, control us, track us, interfere with our health, interfere with our freedoms, interfere with so many things that are going on in the world that are just plain wrong. We are living in very strange times, for sure, and it's almost as if we've reached this point, this critical mass, where we need to make a change. It cannot continue the same way. If we have any hope for our future, we need to rise above this old way of thinking and have this love vibration take on an elevated status in our mind, and to think more positively about what we can be and what we can have and what we want for our future. So our timeline is really up to us. And do we want to be held back, or do we want to progress and move forward into a better life? Or do we want to be like slaves and confined and trapped? Because that's what they're sort of showing me, is that we would be held back. And a lot of the history that has been hidden from us from the past will again be rewritten. And it's almost as if we go through a memory erase when they hide history from us, um, trying to program our minds in different ways as to where we come from and what we have for knowledge and what we have for skills. We were actually super intelligent and had super abilities in the past. They don't show that to us. They hide all that. Because if we knew how powerful and intelligent we are, we might actually start thinking for ourselves. And I guess they don't want, the powers that be don't want us to do that. So anyway, I was given this message last night, and I'm just going to check my notes to see if I've missed anything. I don't think I have, but I'll just have a quick peek here. Yeah, they're just saying that this choice needs to be made sooner rather than later, that this is a year of big changes, and it is a year of new beginnings. Uh, and it's not just for Earth, but for the whole cosmos as a whole and for the universe. Uh, we need to make this decision, and they're just urging us to progress and to make a more positive choice for ourselves. The Arcturians and Pleiadians are on our side. They're not trying to tell us what to do, but they are urging us to look at this more carefully. Nobody can tell us what to do, but our genetics have been tampered with in the past, and they're doing that now. We're getting all kinds of injections, we're getting all kinds of toxins in our food supply, in our water supply, in the air. Everything is so toxic. Our bodies are struggling to survive in a healthy way, and fertility rates are dropping, and disease is climbing, and it's being made to look as though this is all normal, when in fact it's being induced. And it is not normal. It is not a normal progression. This was inflicted upon us as another form of control. And so us making a choice to live in a more positive timeline and have a higher vibration and make positive choices for the collective as a whole. The Pleiadians and Arcturians sort of explained to me that a lot of people just see their small picture, their little window of their own life, and they need to open their mind and look at this bigger picture of what's really going on, and not just get so confined in their own little world and not see the devastation that's taking place on a larger scale, and how it is impacting our whole world, and that we can make a choice and we can raise our vibration. We can elevate our vibration through meditation, through making choices to have more understanding and compassion, standing up for our freedoms, making decisions for our freedoms, and not allowing corruption to overtake us as a people, not allowing um, governments that are wasteful and bloated. And I say bloated because we have way too much government um, for what we need, and so much money is wasted. And there are people in need that could use that money more than all these government employees. Um, I just feel that we need to make a better choice, and they are conveying this to me with a very strong sense of urgency. Anyway, I thought I'd share this information with you that came through last night. I hope that has been of some help to you, but I do urge you to think about some of this information and perhaps, you know, make some different choices as to how you want your life to be and how you want it to look for the future. Have a wonderful day.